Before Order 66, before the fall of the Jedi, there was one man who stood at the very edge of ending it all, the Chosen One's rise and the Sith's return. His name was Mace Windu, and he didn't just stand toe-to-toe with Darth Sidious, he beat him, and if not for betrayal, he could have defeated both Sidious and Anakin. This is the Jedi who could have stopped everything before it even began. So who was Mace Windu? Before the Clone Wars, before Darth Sidious revealed himself, before Anakin Skywalker was ever trained, there was a Jedi who stood apart from all the others. His name was Mace Windu. Mace Windu was born on the harsh, jungle-covered world of Harun Kal, a planet ravaged by war and survival. Even as a child, he stood out. He didn't just seek peace like other younglings. He sought order, control, a deeper sense of justice that went beyond the passive ideals of the Jedi. Windu was discovered by the Jedi Order and trained at the temple on Coruscant. From the beginning, his power was undeniable, but it came with something dangerous. A connection to the darkness, not as a temptation, but as an understanding. When most Jedi feared emotion, Windu sought to master it. He would go on to create his own lightsaber form, Form 7, Vaapad, a ferocious, unpredictable fighting style that danced at the edge of the dark side. Vaapad didn't reject anger, it channeled it. It didn't fear darkness, it reflected it back at the enemy. Vaapad is more than a fighting style, Windu once said. It is a state of mind, a channel through which fury flows but is not consumed. Mace Windu was one of the few Jedi that could actually walk that line, who could hold the darkness in his palm without letting it consume him. He rose quickly through the Order's ranks, not just as a warrior but as a thinker, a strategist, and a moral anchor. By the time of the Phantom Menace, he was second only to Yoda, and one of the most respected and feared Jedi in the galaxy. He wielded a unique purple lightsaber, a symbol of balance between the light and the dark, and a visual testament to his individuality. Windu wasn't flashy, he wasn't reckless, he was controlled, calculated, and above all, unshakably loyal to the Jedi Code. But that same loyalty made him dangerous, because unlike other Jedi, Mace was willing to act decisively, even fatally, if it meant preserving peace. He wasn't a Jedi built for politics, he wasn't a Jedi built for prophecy, he was built for war. Yoda was the wisdom, Obi-Wan was the compassion, and Mace Windu was the sword. And the sword nearly changed the fate of the galaxy. In the final moments of the Jedi Republic, the truth was revealed. The Sith had returned, and they weren't hiding in the shadows anymore, they were already in power. The moment was set. The Jedi had grown suspicious of Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, and Mace Windu was the only one to act. While Anakin struggled with visions of Padme's death, Windu assembled a strike team to arrest the Chancellor and uncover the truth. "If what you told me is true, you'll have gained my trust," Mace told Anakin. "But for now, stay here." Mace enters Palpatine's office with 3 Jedi Masters at his side: Kit Fisto, Agent Kola, and Sarsy Tin. These were no ordinary Jedi. They were hand-picked elite warriors, but even they weren't ready for what came next. In a single motion, Palpatine ignites his red lightsaber and strikes them down in seconds, one by one. They fall without landing in a single blow. Only Mace Windu remains. And then the unthinkable happens. Windu doesn't just survive, he fights back, and then he starts to win. The duel is fierce, fast, and filled with raw power. Sidious throws everything at him: speed, force attacks, ferocity. By Mace's mastery of Form 7, Vaapad gives him the edge. He turns Sidious's own darkness against him, feeding off his rage without falling to it. Vaapad is a path that leads through darkness but ends in light. In one of the most critical moments in Star Wars history, Mace Windu disarms Darth Sidious, literally. He knocks the Sith Lord's saber out of his hand. Sidious is thrown to the ground, backed against the window, lightning flickering from his fingers in desperation. He has control of the Senate and the courts. He's too dangerous to be left alive. Mace wasn't playing politics, he wasn't hesitating. He knew what had to be done. "I'm going to end this once and for all," and he was right. George Lucas confirmed Mace Windu won that fight. He overpowered Darth Sidious. This wasn't a draw, it wasn't luck, and it wasn't a setup. Mace Windu was the only Jedi in the entire saga to defeat Darth Sidious in open combat. Not Yoda, not Anakin, not Luke, Mace Windu. And in that moment, the fate of the galaxy hung on a single decision. All he had to do was swing. But behind him stood Anakin Skywalker, and with the flash of betrayal, everything changed. He was seconds away, only one swing from ending the Sith, one moment from saving the galaxy, and then everything collapsed. Anakin Skywalker entered the room with conflict burning inside him. He had been groomed, manipulated, and emotionally broken by Palpatine, the man who claimed to be his only path to saving Padme. In that moment, Anakin wasn't a Jedi, he wasn't a Sith, he was a terrified husband clinging to a lie. "I need him, he must stand trial, he has too much control." Mace Windu stood his ground. The code was clear. Sidious was too dangerous to be left alive. He had been corrupted. He had seen the corruption of the Republic. He knew the rot that came from the top, and now finally he was about to end it. Anakin didn't see justice. He saw death, and with one panicked decision, he chose wrong. The betrayal is swift. A flash of blue, a severed hand. Mace Windu, the strongest Jedi warrior in the Order, is left defenseless, and then Palpatine unleashes the storm. Sith lightning pours from his fingers, crashing into Windu's body, launching him through the shadow window. Power, unlimited power. With Windu's fall, the light dims. Anakin kneels, Darth Vader rises, and the galaxy begins to die. But what if? What if Anakin stayed in the council chambers just like Mace ordered? What if he never entered that room? What if Windu struck down Sidious before Vader was born? One choice, one breath, one moment of stillness, and the galaxy would have changed forever. In this ultimate timeline, Anakin does what Mace Windu tells him. He doesn't storm into Palpatine's office. He doesn't interfere. He stays in the Jedi Council chambers, pacing, torn by fear and love, but ultimately chooses patience over impulse. And inside the Chancellor's office, Mace Windu defeats Darth Sidious. There is no interference, no betrayal, no hand severed, just the purple blade from Fawn 7 raised high. And one final decisive strike, Palpatine is dead, the Sith have been destroyed, and the Clone Wars end. Back at the Jedi Temple, word reaches the Council, the Chancellor was the Sith Lord. The war was orchestrated, the Order is shaken but vindicated. The Jedi were right. Windu returns a hero, respected, feared, and now elevated as the Jedi who saved the galaxy. And for Anakin, he finds clarity. Padme lives, the nightmares stop. He confesses his fear of loss to Obi-Wan and the Council, and for once, they listen. He begins to trust them, to trust himself. Palpatine's voice is gone, and the manipulation ends. Luke and Leia are born in peace. Instead of hiding in fear, Padme gives birth, surrounded by safety on Naboo, or in the care of the Jedi. Anakin is there, a father, a husband, a Jedi Knight, still flawed but healing. He becomes the Jedi he's always meant to be, the chosen one, fulfilled. Without Sidious, there is no Order 66. The inhibited chips in the clones remain dormant. The Jedi Order, bruised but standing, begins reform. The Republic is restructured, no longer a puppet, no longer under the control of darkness. Yoda returns to the temple. Obi-Wan resumes his role, and Mace Windu becomes the new Grand Master, shaping the next generation with discipline and vigilance. Ahsoka returns, the Senate rebuilds, the Sith remain a dark legend never returning to power, and the Skywalker twins grow up knowing love instead of loss. In this reality, the tragedy of Darth Vader never happens, the Empire never rises, billions never die, because one man, Anakin Skywalker, waited, and in that patience, the galaxy was saved. One choice changed everything. Now let's imagine this. Let's imagine that Mace Windu actually survived falling out of that window. This isn't a question of hero versus villain, it's a question of discipline versus raw power, control versus chaos, master versus prodigy. Anakin Skywalker is the chosen one, the being prophesied to bring balance to the Force. His midichlorian count surpasses even Yoda, and at the time of Revenge of the Sith, he's the most dangerous, driven by fear, anger, and the seduction of the dark side. He effortlessly defeats Count Dooku, someone Obi-Wan struggles with. The Jedi Council never knew Anakin was power incarnate. His power was never in question, it was his control that failed him. But when it comes to control and discipline, Mace Windu, on the other hand, is the definition of control. Years of refinement, technique, and mental mastery. He channels darkness but never falls to it. Through his self-invented form, Vaapad. His style is designed to feed off and redirect the rage of others, and a fight against Anakin is burning with fear, loss, and hate. Vaapad thrives. And Mace Windu is one of the greatest duelists in Jedi history. He defeated Darth Sidious in a one-on-one duel, something no other Jedi ever managed. Anakin, while incredibly gifted, had never faced someone like Mace, a warrior who turns your strength against you. It's likely that Mace could keep up with Anakin's speed, anticipate his strikes, and begin to outmaneuver him, especially once the emotion kicks in. The more Anakin raged, the stronger Mace would become. Mace doesn't lose control. He studies his opponents, exploits their weakness, and waits for the decisive strike. Anakin, even as Darth Vader, struggles when emotion clouds his judgment. That's how Obi-Wan beat him on Mustafar, not by overpowering him, but by outthinking him. Mace is sharper, calmer, and ruthlessly efficient in a duel. If the fight is fast, brutal, and emotional, Anakin is deadly. His aggression could overwhelm many Jedi, but the longer the fight goes on, the more emotion takes over, the more the darkness swells. That's when Mace wins. Anakin may have had the highest ceiling, but Mace Windu was the sharpest sword. In a true duel with no third-party interference, Mace Windu has the tools, the technique, and the mindset to defeat Anakin Skywalker, not because Anakin wasn't strong enough, but because Mace Windu knew how to handle monsters, and never hesitated to kill one. The Jedi Order produced legends, Yoda, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn, but none were like Mace Windu. He wasn't a prophet, he wasn't a mentor, he was a weapon, sharpened, refined, and pointed at the heart of the dark side. He stood at the edge of galactic history and nearly turned the side. He defeated Darth Sidious. He sensed the darkness in Anakin before anyone else. He was seconds away from ending the war before betrayal struck. Had he survived? Had he finished the job? The galaxy might have never known Darth Vader, never seen the Empire rise, never watched the Jedi fall. Mace Windu wasn't just any other Jedi Master, he was the last line of defense before everything fell apart. And in the end, it wasn't the power that killed him, it was trust. If Mace Windu survived, how different would Star Wars be? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more deep dives into the Star Wars galaxy. And as always, may the Force be with you.